to Peter Nortsu-Kotoe. He's Member of Parliament and Ranking Member on the Education Committee of Parliament. Honorable, you're welcome to Eyewitness News.
Yeah, thank you very much, Umaru. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. Lots of critics of the education sector have been raising issue with the unavailability of textbooks in schools. The Vice President proposal now, or Vice President's announcement, appears to be the solution to that problem, where you will not have hard copy textbooks. You would have tablets that would have textbooks in there plus past questions. It solves the problem and kills two stones with one bird, courtesy Zita Okaikwe.
Thank you very much, and good evening to your listeners. Umaru, we can all agree that there's a need for develop our education technologically, but we need to take a step at a time. I think the Vice President has a good idea, but the timing is wrong. You look at the supply of tablets. For 2 years now, we are in the third year. The teachers in the pre-tertiary institutions have paid for the tablets. And I can tell you that it's so far in the last 2 years, and we're in the third year now, only 25% of the teachers received the tablets. Where are the tablets for the remaining 25% of the teachers in the country? So we need to prioritize our agenda for reforms in the education center. You have very good ideas, but the implementation is the problem. So let us finish with one program before we implement another. So the first question I'll ask the Vice President is, when are you going to supply the remaining 25% of pre-tertiary education teachers in the country with their tablets, for which they have paid? And government is even owing them 44 cedis refund because they had overpaid. So we have not done that. Now we are jumping to another one for about 1.2 million students in the senior high schools. I don't think we are getting our things right. Now, if in the 2023 budget, there is no provision for the procurement of tablets for senior high schools, and I know they are going to push that one to get fund, but the get fund is so much overburdened that they cannot meet all the demands in the education center. For 2022, get fund received only 39% of the approved allocation. And this year is going to be worse. The projected revenue for get fund was 4.6 billion, but they are going to receive just about 40%, which is 1.8 billion cedis. Looking at all that we have, how are they going to meet all these expenditures in the educational sector? As we are talking, students in the senior high schools are hungry. Government, before the reopening of schools last week, have not supplied the schools with food items. So the headmasters and headmistresses don't know what to do as far as the feeding of the students are concerned. So why don't we concentrate on how we get food for our students so that they can be fed, so that when they are not hungry, they can concentrate and learn? Yes, you can supply laptops, gadgets, and tablets to them, but let us do things by priority so that they can make the headway. Now, the textbooks that they even printed for basic schools, they are yet to pay the publishers, and they are crying because they went and took loans from banks at the dollar rate. And look at the rate of the dollar now. They are going to run at a loss. So, fine, he has a good dream, but the dream is untimely. And I think we should go back to the drawing board. Let's meet the priorities of the senior high school. The classrooms are overcrowded. The boarding houses are overcrowded. There are so many abandoned projects which, when completed, can decongest the classrooms and the dormitories. We are not thinking of all those things. We are only thinking of something that is not going to help them immediately. If we have all these facilities, I think the students can concentrate and learn. before we introduce them to these gadgets or laptops and iPads, and then they will be able to cope. And in a hungry environment, how can you concentrate and be learning? Umaru, that is the problem we are facing in this country with secondary education as a whole.
When the NPP proposed or promised free senior high school, lots of critics said it was not doable, it was not going to happen. It has happened and essentially shamed the naysayers. Are you not sure that this naysaying that you are engaging in may be shamed and that they may well succeed in delivering on this promise?
The issue is that it's not about naysayers. The issue is about proper implementation of the program. The senior high school, everybody agreed that it was a good program, but let us implement it in a way that the challenges will not be overwhelming. If you go to the senior high schools now, overcrowding is in the dormitories, overcrowding is in the classrooms. Schools are not being given funds to run the schools. You see, and the government is owing a lot of suppliers through the buffer stock, and they are not ready to supply food items to the schools again. So they feed the students anyhow, and they are always hungry. Are we sending the school there to suffer from malnutrition? No. So we are saying that have your priorities right. The students are there. Let's feed them first. And then when everything is done, the environment is good for them, you are able to release funds to the schools so that they can take good care of the students. Then other things can follow. We are not saying it is not doable, but you are not doing it properly, haphazardly. Anything that comes to your mind, you implement it, whether it will have any long-term effect or not. But I can tell you that it is only Get Fund that is getting choked, because everything, they'll push it to Get Fund. Teachers a laptop, they push it to Get Fund. As we are talking now, students in colleges of education, they owe them between 5 to 7 months of allowances, depending on the level of the student, whether level 100 or level 200 or 300. Now, colleges of education will be opened next week. The principals of colleges of education are worried how they are going to feed the students. They are lucky that the first year students have been made to pay about 3,000 Ghana cedis as an admission fee. So they will be able to run the school or the college on that money for some time. So, Umaru, that is the challenge we are facing. We are not saying that don't do any new program, but do what is expected of you. And in fact, make sure that people don't suffer. The children don't suffer. We send them there to go and study, not to have mental problems. So I think the Vice President must come again. He should rather give us assurance that the challenges that are facing the implementation of the free senior high school, they have overcome them. And this is what they have done to overcome them. And then any new program, we'll buy into it. That is the best way for him to go, or anybody to follow.
You say that they did not budget for these tablets. Is there a way that they could get the money from any other approved budgets for this particular exercise, or there's a way that it can be done without necessarily expending money this year?
Well, I don't know whether they're going to use the so-called contingency fund in the budget, the fund that we made available to the Jubilee House, or they are going to get fund to bear that cross or carry that cross again, because they are carrying the cross of the one teacher one laptop, which they are yet to implement fully. There are other things that Get Fund is doing. They will not plan for it. There to be imposed on them. Go and do it. And when they appear before the committee or the House for approval, they have questions to answer. So in the end, I am sure they are going to push it to Get Fund, and it is where we will have a challenge of funds being made available to Get Fund. But this can be achieved if government decaps Get Fund. If Get Fund is decapped and the whole 4.6 billion goes to Get Fund, I can assure you that all these things could be done. Get Fund will be able to get money to pay the allowances, complete all projects that are ongoing. But if you do that and you don't give them, as at now, as we are speaking, the Minister of Finance is withholding over 800 million Ghana cedis that is due to get funds. So the contractors are crying. So I wonder even any supplier will be wise enough within these circumstances to involve his or her money in the supply of the laptop or the gadgets to the students when GEFA is unable to even pay contractors for the supply of these textbooks and teachers' laptops. So I doubt how feasible it's going to be. So that is the challenge. Money is not there. And I don't know how they are going to get money to do that.
Very well. Thank you for speaking to us, sir.
Thank you, too. Well, have a good evening.
You too. That's the ranking member on the Education Committee of Parliament and Member of Parliament, the Honorable Peter Nortsu-Kotoe.